En förbannad lukt på din soppa. Vad ska vara bra till?
Welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, joined by Beau Oliver, the Blue Cricket.
Yes, that is me. Just blew out my ears.
Wow, was I yelling?
That was a loud hello.
No, it wasn't.
I like it. It's forceful, you know? I'm here. Hello.
I didn't even say hello. I said welcome. Welcome back. Hello.
You did that was Welcome.
Yes.
Well, I'm welcomed. Welcome. Yeah, let's just review the show. How about that?
Yeah, The Outsider. The latest.
I think that this show has fried our brains.
Yeah?
I think El Cuco's gotten inside of us.
Yo, I just wanted to give that guy some cream for the back of his neck.
Me too, yeah.
It just looked
his skin was
pop
cracking.
it or something. Ugh, God.
Take him to a dermatologist, see what they can do with that. No, it's even at the end just to skip to the end when Holly was looking at her neck. It wasn't so much, am I being controlled? It was like, oh my God, am I going to have to get this checked out? What are the medical repercussions of this?
Every time I watch that, I touch my neck. I'm like, oh, I'm good, right?
Not me. I'm a hypochondriac, so I touch my neck and I'm like, I'm dying. But yeah, no, I mean, El Cuco. Not a great episode for him.
He's
they've
wild.
been building him up. It's a slow build, right? Do you like the slow build?
Well, this is a show that I was drawn to immediately. I think the first 4 episodes were very, very intriguing. And I don't think the rest, I think it took a dip during the middle, towards the end. And I don't think the show ever lived up to that initial intrigue because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is going to be another True Detective season 1.
Yeah, those first 2 episodes directed by Bateman.
Yeah.
The one scene that always sticks out in my head is when he freaks out that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, he's horrifying.
Yeah.
He's got the blood all over him and he's talking, but it's her voice. Those first 2 episodes were great.
It was phenomenal, and I mean, the show was still very good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it lived up to that initial intrigue, but...
People were upset with the slow burn. It's much better on a binge, because I didn't come in until it was already 8 episodes in.
Okay.
So I just ran through them, and I thought, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Maybe it is different week to week. And I have to say, the week to week, you have to make your finale 2 hours, because you kill the momentum of episode 9. Because the way episode 9 ended with Jack sniping them out, and then it cuts, it was a great cliffhanger, but it's resolved too quickly in the finale.
It was like a Breaking Bad type cut.
Right, but that cut works because you come back and everyone's dead.
I know.
Yeah, this one, it's like, it's still going.
Yeah, it came right back. And I did think that beginning was a little odd. The way it was shot, a lot of cuts, very shaky. It was just I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I enjoyed it for the most part because it felt like wherever you run, you're going to get snipped. Mm-hmm. But people did die. I mean, Bill Camp is Howard. I love Howard, you know?
A lot more than I thought because they killed, what's his name?
Killed Andy as well.
Andy right in the beginning at the end of last episode. So this episode, I thought that might be it. But they did get a lot.
No, Alec was killed. Alec was the other. Andy was the boyfriend.
Yeah, well,
Alec was killed
toasted
at the end of last episode.
Yeah.
He was the one he was just taking shots. He was like a meat bag, just a meat shield.
Yeah.
Just lighting them up for no reason. That was offensive.
Yeah, jerked.
No, but I mean, those 2 actors right there, Derek Cecile, he was great as Holly's boyfriend throughout the season, and Jeremy Bobb, all the cops. I really liked the relationships between all the cops. Yeah. So to see them all go into war together and get pieced up like that, I felt bad.
No, yeah, all the acting was great this for the whole series, and I guess the lead, Ben Mendelsohn, it's nice to see him as a good guy, as Ralph.
He's incredible. Yeah, I really liked him as Ralph. And, frustrated me throughout the series. I'm just like, come on, just believe in the thing. He's like Brian, when Brian in Family Guy meets Jesus, and he's still an atheist. It's like, you've met Jesus.
And I think Cynthia Erivo, too, was the other standout of the series as
Definitely
Holly.
Stole the show. I'm such a sucker for that archetype. Sherlock Holmes. It's what if Sherlock Holmes had to solve, an El Cuco case? Well, and they kind of do that with the Hounds of Baskerville.
Well, she's Sherlock on fucking steroids.
No, yeah, she's just the geometry, the way that she can...
It's Alexa, pretty much.
Yeah, she... It's Alexa, can you solve this crime? Yeah, no, she was incredible. But Ben Mendelsohn, again, I mean, I think he's definitely a world-class actor.
Oh, yeah.
When you see his resume over the last 5 to 10 years, I mean, he's been in blockbusters, he's been in smaller films, he's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But it was a very, tense, I guess, kind of battle there with Jack sniping, and he finally refuses the El Cuco's call, and he doesn't kill Holly. So that's, one thing about Jack. I mean, he was always kind of a douchebag, but, he's not a murderer. So I kind of liked how he tried to fight, but it goes to show, the control this thing had over him.
Yeah,
I probably would have shot myself a little earlier, but he finally realized it's like, yeah, I can't be doing this anymore.
I can't remember the character's name, but the bully in It, that's who he kind of reminded me of. And I made the joke that this is kind of like It for kids. And it's like, what if adults had to deal with the It clown? That they're grappling with their whole beliefs and God and religion, and the kids are just like, there's an evil clown, we got to kill it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Jack was, that was a tragic ending for his character. They didn't hold back, too, when he blew his brains out.
I think episode 5 I might have done that. But at that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
This demon's living inside you. Probably like, I'm fucked.
He really thought he could fight a fucking demon.
Not gonna Not going to end well for me.
Nope. On the astral plane, it didn't end well. And I love the setting that they put them in, the cave. And they got the whole backstory of the cave, of what happened all those years ago, and how if you just shout too loud, the echoes are going to bring the whole thing down. So it was kind of put in a position where it felt like El Cuco had the advantage, but it was a more leveled playing field. And that whole confrontation when Claude comes out and confronts the doppelganger, or whatever he is, all the dialogue throughout the show to me was very well written.
Yeah, I thought it was a little anticlimactic, because we are building up this El Cuco, and this might have just been I expected a little more. I did enjoy the scene in the dialogue, but I don't know, for all this build-up for that final confrontation, and he's shot by Claude, and then the cave kind of falls in on him.
Right, but I love the scene between El Cuco and Ralph, because Ralph finally believes, and he's like, well, the scientific community is going to want to poke and prod and take little bits of you, and he's talking about how it's very much how the real world would react to a situation like this. And to go back a couple of episodes, one of my favorite scene is when Ralph tells Holly the story about hearing the song, and he's like, what do you make of that? She's like, it kind of sounds like a coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, this seems true, but everything else is still bullshit, you know?
It's a weird balance, because they try to keep it very grounded with certain characters. And I guess that's the difference, like you said, of it, where it's just kids. It's easily believable with the clown. But just the tone and the way they set up a lot of characters in the series, it's trying to ground it, but it's obviously a very real thing. So, I don't know, I felt at times it was like, oh, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's not. It's weird how some horror series or horror movies can establish that, yeah, this is just the way it is.
Well, it even feels like King grappling with his own faith. And you kind of see this with a lot of the older generation, Scorsese, in almost every movie. It's like, yeah, I know maybe religion and believing in God is a little ridiculous, but I can't just let it go. And it's almost like metaphorically explained to us through El Cuco and Ralph and even Holly. Holly believes in it, but she's still the most logical person there. And she's just saying, hey, I've looked at the evidence and it all points to this. But yeah, at times it can almost feel like an inconsistent tone.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they felt, like I said, I think that this should have been a 2-hour finale where you have all of that build up, where if you don't have the cliffhanger of Jack piecing everybody up and it just all builds to a smaller confrontation than you would expect, I think that could work nicely. But for me, it still did. For a lot of people, it seems like it didn't. Just kind of taking the temperature of the reactions.
No, I mean, I don't mind a smaller...
Well, it's more of the build-up.
Yeah, so... I don't know.
Would you say that you're more disappointed in? All this build-up and then it's just a conversation.
I don't know. I think the finale is very much how I feel about the whole show after the first few episodes. Where I expected something, I guess, more, but it was still very good, but not to the standard that I was expecting.
Yes.
But what are you going to do there? And did you like how they all tied it up at the end? How they kind of tied all the loose ends of Terry Maitland and his family and what it means for the case. And because at the end of the day, the outside world is very much out of the loop on this.
Yeah, it's like the killer's still out there. I guess it's just going to be an open case forever. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice cover-up. That's what I was thinking. I was like, they got to find a way to make this a cover-up because they're not going to bring this guy in and say, we found this fantasy world creature.
It's El Cuco.
It's El Cuco.
Mugshot.
Just all deformed and shit. It is kind of convenient that the Frankie Peterson's entire family is gone, so they don't have to deal with him. They only have to deal with Glory Maitland. But she was a character that I did sympathize with. You know, that's how I would have acted if somebody pulled my husband or dad or family member and wrongly accused him of this thing.
That's hard, too. I mean, the outside world, I mean, she did nothing. Let's say even if Terry was this monster, and she still has to deal with that. Like you saw with the people trying to get into her home, and people not taking her seriously as a realtor. They just wanted to kind of do it just like, oh, look, can't believe who I saw, Terry Maitland's wife. So you kind of see that often when this kind of thing is portrayed in TV and films. Just how like the family who has nothing to do with it, they have to basically deal with the consequences.
One of the best scenes is when they give her all the evidence when she meets Holly, and she's like, this is the best you could come up with, the fucking boogeyman.
Yeah, she got fucking tight.
Yeah. And Jeannie Anderson, played by Mare Winningham, is really the connective tissue. She's the one who is able to break through to Glory and her children to help Ralph with the case. And I found that relationship to be kind of reassuring. You know, they've obviously experienced the tragedy of losing a kid, Ralph and Jeannie, but they're still there. They're still supportive. You could see that it affects them, but they're very much on the same page, except when it comes to this El Cuco thing. And the way that she comforted him, the way that she confronted him, to me was very reassuring and refreshing to see an on-screen relationship, a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and you're right, because they did have a similar, I guess, tragedy happen with them where their son died at a young age. So that's kind of like the catalyst for how Ralph approached this whole thing, especially with Terry making this whole scene, arresting him in a public place, and that kind of brought this whole shitstorm down on the Maitland family.
Right.
And you could see how that regret eats at him throughout the season. And it is her character, because I don't know if he would believe Ralph that is Holly alone. I think it was his wife's willingness to accept these other ideas that most people would find crazy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, she's even in on the cover-up when she takes the chair and she burns it. So she was the one who believed. And similar to Holly, it's just all this evidence was overwhelming. So the boogeyman has to be the one who believes. And also, we have Ewell Vasquez as Jonas Sabler, who was also, I just loved all the cops. Someone who did believe, someone who had faith.
Yeah, it's funny when she first mentions the El Cuco in that meeting, and he gives the sign of the cross.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're about to get fucked.
Right away, yeah, he knows. He knows from the stories of his childhood. And that cultural difference, it's people who grew up like myself. I grew up in a religious family, and then you kind of abandon it. Some people can't. They can't let it go. So the conversations that he has with Ralph, trying to reassure him, when Ralph's having that breakdown of this changes everything, and he's like, hey, man, take it in pieces, small pieces. Chew on it.
Yeah, and it's cool how the different people have different names for this mystical being, or whatever it is. El Cuco, the boogeyman. I also very much like when Holly was going to New York and all these different places and kind of connecting the dots, how trying to figure out a pattern and how this thing works, trying to describe the undescribable.
Yeah, they take a very logical approach.
Yeah,
I like that at the end when he's like, hey, I wouldn't be against teaming up, but something more simpler, like a triple murder or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and a bit of a cliffhanger at the end with Holly. Is she the next vessel?
I don't care.
No.
Nice miniseries, just end it. Always got to hit me with the cliffhanger, like, oh, we could come back.
I don't know if it was as much as a cliffhanger as, it's obviously a cliffhanger, but I don't know if it's like, we're going to return. It's kind of like, here's something you can
talk about on
with.
YouTube. Yeah. Here's a nice 35,000 views.
Although I wouldn't mind like a Holly-type Sherlock Holmes just going around killing these monsters or trying to figure out.
Or even something that is not fantasy, just sick her on the trail of some psycho out there. Holly Gibney, that's a spinoff. And I like the nods that they gave to the other universes and books. When she asks him, El Cuco, are there others out there? And he's like, yeah, I felt some of the presence. I felt somebody shining. I sensed it. The Dark Tower. They're all connected. Yeah, but overall I thought, they did a good job of tying up all the loose ends.
And as Stephen King adaptations go, how do you think this one?
It's funny with Stephen King, we talk about him like he writes so much and a lot of it's crap, but some of it's good. Maybe it's just all good and we've just done a horrible job at adapting it over these years.
Well,
last couple of years, it's like every Stephen King adaptation is good. And some of them are remakes.
Except for The Dark Tower. But
right.
It's funny, after the second episode, I didn't know it was an adaptation. So I was watching the credits and it said based off Stephen King or whatever. I'm like, oh, God. This twist is not going to...
It's not going to be satisfying.
Am I going to show that's going to rely on a twist? And I saw that, I had no hope.
Well, it was interesting that Richard Price was the guy who developed it, who's also an author, and he's known for writing very realistic and gritty stories. And he's written for The Wire, The Night Of, and The Deuce. So he's kind of an HBO veteran. And he's similar in age to Stephen King. He's 70 years old. So I had mentioned to you that it might not be the best Stephen King adaptation, but they really captured the creepiness of his writing. This is how I felt. That visceral feeling of watching this show unfold is how I feel when I read one of his creepier passages in It or The Shining. I think they did a really good job at that.
A lot of the episodes, especially some of the earlier ones, were pretty scary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, this finale, I was inside that cave. I was panicking, man.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could have went wrong. I don't like that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think it was a solid watch. It was a nice little, appetizer.
Nice little fun show.
For Westworld,
Yeah, that was the Westworld appetizer.
Yeah, we had a little gap, so
it's a nice little treat.
We had this, and I don't know, I thought it was very entertaining. It kept me coming back week after week, so that always says something about your show. Yeah, I think
your brothel.
Yeah. I'd probably go somewhere like an 8. Very entertaining. A little slow at times, but
I think we're in agreement.
Yeah.
8 out of 10. Yeah, that was the score I had in my mind.
Wow. I like that. Simpatico.
We're like a dyad, like in Star Wars. Except you're going to kill all the enemies and I'll just show up at the end looking hot in a sweater. Adam Driver.
Oh.
The dyad? The Star Wars dyad? Did you not read the novelization?
No.
Okay.
I just got the article updates.
Right. Well, you know what I loved when Holly was like, an outsider knows an outsider. Holly's also an outsider because she's different.
They waited to the end, but I always love when they drop the title name in there. It's like, that's why they call it The Outsider.
There's going to be the screen rant. Who's the outsider?
Who's the real outsider?
Yeah, who's the real... Shut up, screen rant. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video, and of course we would like to thank our Patreon supporters. Without you guys, Nerd Soup wouldn't be Nerd Soup. Seriously, your support is what keeps the fridge full, so thank you once again for your support. If you are interested in supporting Nerd Soup through Patreon, visit our page and check out the different rewards we offer to our fans. If not, then no problem. We appreciate anyone who takes time from their day to watch our videos. So thank you to each and every one of you out there watching, and remember to like and share this video. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like it. Or don't.